how social do you actually feel on Instagram? Do you feel more connected with people? Do you feel more companionship with people? Do you feel more tuned in to the human experience, or do you feel so much more alone? Hey guys, what's going on? I did a video last week on why I deleted my Instagram. It is on this page, so I think it's called Why I Deleted My Instagram, literally part 1. So if you haven't checked that out yet and you are feeling the same way around social media or Instagram in particular, I highly encourage you to check that video out. This video I just wanted to create to add some points as I've had another week. This is my second week without being on Instagram, without checking it every day like I used to for many years, to be real. And it's crazy because it's one of those things where you don't think it's a big deal. You know, everyone's doing it, so it doesn't seem unnatural. And yet, I had this call like 2 weeks ago to give it up. Something just didn't feel right. I felt very drained, like I haven't before. After being on it, I wasn't, and again, I go in detail in my other video, but I didn't feel like I was having fun anymore. I wasn't really happy when I was using it. And again, after I would use it, I'd find myself being in these lower frequency, lower states of just kind of like either sadness or just feeling down. And it's funny because when you actually take a step back from it, and in my case, it's been a 2-week step so far, you see how much attention and focus you actually gave that thing. And in the moment when you were in it, when you were playing the Instagram game, so to speak, you couldn't really see it. And I was making people's stories and posts an important part of my daily life and checking in. And you know, you can make something that's unimportant, which, you know, I consider to be other people's stories and Instagram posts. You can make that important by leaking your energy throughout the day, and spending so much time and focus and attention on those things. That's how you make something unimportant important. You give your energy away. You give your focus to that thing. And that's exactly what I was doing. And, you know, it's crazy to think that parts of my days I was being stressed out and feeling anxiety over needing to get the completion of, oh my God, thank you. I'm caught up on the last 3 days of posts. Thank you for letting me know, Instagram. Or I need to make sure I see everyone's story that I want to see, because if I don't see them in 24 hours, then they're going to disappear and I'm going to miss out on content. So I was very much under that line of thinking, subconsciously. And again, like, I'm kind of surprised how like next level I feel, because I was expecting to miss it a lot. I was expecting to kind of give it a break and then go back. But as of right now, I really have no plans on going back anytime soon. It's kind of like when I let go of alcohol in my life. And again, I'm not against anything. I probably have 1 or 2 beers a year. But when I let go of kind of being, you know, a regular alcohol drinker in the bar scene a couple years ago, again, kind of very similar to this, I was almost surprised how much I didn't want to go back, or I didn't have any desire to go back to it once I gave it up, because on a very like subtle level, your body knows that it's no longer serving you. It's no longer benefiting you. Even like the highs, the dopamine highs, the benefits are, you know, shrinking compared to the highs and the positive experiences and the positive side effects that you got from it when you started out with it, whether it's any coping mechanism. But and that's the thing too, I realized, especially around Instagram and my phone, how, it was such a big coping mechanism. Instead of facing uncomfortable feelings around, whether it was around like purpose and what I wanted to do with my life, or around, lack or money, or around, just like health fear and sensations in my body, or especially uncomfortableness around relationships, I would use social media to get out of my body and to distract me from feeling what my body was feeling in that moment. So the more you can be in your body and less on your phone, and less, again, everything, there's no right or wrong. I'm going to keep saying that because people like to demonize things, but everything is a tool, and everything can be used in a productive, efficient way, in a empowering way or a disempowering way. So we live in a society where definitely phone use is not used particularly in a very empowering way. But what I'm saying is it's incredible to give that up and to see how present you can be, and how much actually in your body you can be, and how in such a flow state you can be throughout your days by giving up Instagram if, again, you're feeling called to do so. Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I have, like, I think three or so points to go into that are just add-ons to the first video I made. Again, if you haven't checked that out yet, check it out. But I will get on to the 3 points. So here we go. All right, guys, I want to add this point into this. We'll call this point number 8. It's this idea of cloning everyone to be the same, to be under this spell of needing to be professional, of needing to be presentable, whatever the fuck that means. But a lot of us think it's like this idea of being perfect, of being dolled up, of being, camera ready, of being like a celebrity, of being politically correct. But guys, this is a trap that I've gotten into in many different ways on Instagram and other platforms, but also it's killing your creativity. It's killing the parts of you that are different than everyone else, and those are the things that people want to see. Those are the things that make you stand out, that make you desirable to people. So, like, you have everyone trying to be a certain way. I mean, you see this with in the artistic community on Instagram, but you also see it in, like, it's rampant in, like, health coach communities and spirituality and all of that stuff too, because there's this idea that you have to act in this certain way, and, like, you're not like vibrating like 5D, you're not super spiritual, you're not, good because you're not acting in this certain way. But it's like, let your fucking guard down, okay? Like, think about when you were a kid. I mean, I've had this beautiful experience of watching home videos of me and other people in my life when we were kids. Guys, you don't give a fuck when you're a kid. You are yourself. You are you. You are all parts of you, Like, not only are you all emotional parts of you, you can be happy one moment, then cry, and then totally get over it the other moment. That's the natural state of human beings, moving through emotions like that, not holding any disease of emotions in your body. But the second point is your quirkiness, your innate ability to connect with people and make people laugh, and, like, your silliness and your playfulness. Like, Instagram crushes that out of people. Now, I'm not saying that there's not people who embody that on Instagram. There definitely are, but for a great majority of people, it's gotten people scared to just express themselves, because once a camera turns on, or once you take a photo of yourself, there's all of this, like, it has to look a certain way. It has to be a certain way because, again, of the subconscious validation piece. But it's like, honey, you can be any way you want to fucking be. And it sucks the fun out of
out of being anyway when you're trying to be a certain way, when you're attached to trying to look or be a certain way. Guys, another quick point. If there's two things certain in life, I would say death, and not taxes, I would say law of attraction. And for people who have experienced being a unfollow whore like me, you're going to realize that that energy follows you. And what I mean by that is that you're going to develop certain insecurities around your relationships because you're not being upfront with people. You're bypassing having tough conversations with them, so you just unfollow people. You're going to be very worried of people doing the same thing to you, and eventually, in some capacity, they will. You will feel what you've been dishing out to other people.
So I bring this point up about unfollowing because I find it really fascinating because this was a pattern in me, as I mentioned, and there's nothing wrong with unfollowing someone. There's nothing inherently bad about it, especially, maybe you want to check someone's page out, you give them a follow, and then, maybe they're not who you thought they were, or just you outgrow people, or maybe it was just, again, you want to check something out. You have the freedom and the choice to follow or unfollow someone. It's not a big deal in that perspective, but what I'm talking about is using this action of unfollowing someone as a bypassing tool to not be in integrity in relationships and to create what you do is create this illusion of separation with you and the person that you unfollow, or that's what a person does when they unfollow you, and you actually have a real relationship with them. So I'm talking about someone that you're actually friends with, someone that you, and again, most people in society these days don't consciously talk about what they want out of a friendship. You just kind of start falling in line with a friend, whether it's, a coworker or someone you're on a project with or whatever it is, or, literally just childhood friends, what have you. But my point is there's very little communication with what you actually want out of a friendship. But if you actually want to have meaningful, deep, feel good relationships that last, they require maintenance just like a romantic relationship does. So I was falling under this trap of just kind of thinking and, because the other person wasn't necessarily putting in the work either, um, just kind of unconsciously unfollowing them, thinking that the relationship was over, and really kind of devaluing them or just really kind of writing off. That's a good word, writing off the relationship when it either A, wasn't over, or B, um, you know, I rather do it consciously where, um, they understand that I'm feeling a certain way and perhaps they're not meeting my needs, or perhaps, you know, whatever it is, there's communication. So when they see me, again, this is for someone who you've been friends with and that you not owe them, because you don't owe anyone anything, but you have a certain level of integrity with them to be communicative with them as a friend. Um, so when that happens and you communicate with them that there's a falling out, or that you feel like you want to consciously end the relationship, they see you unfollow them and there's no surprise. So what I'm saying with this is we can help um, we can help dissolve and end so much suffering around ambiguity and around illusions in relationships by being communicative and by not unconsciously doing this anymore, by just cutting someone out of our lives without um, having them be a part of the process. And a lot of the times you don't do it because it's uncomfortable as fuck to tell someone that they're not meeting your needs, or that something is quote unquote not right in the relationship. So um, I get it, it's not comfortable, but again, in my experience, I was doing this a lot, and I reached a point where this happened to me, and I was doing this a lot on my end, and you feel really alone the more that you do this with people in your life, because again, um, the suffering that you perhaps cause them, they can feel it energetically. They can feel you cutting them off. That reverberates back to you. And at the end of the day, again, um, a lot of the times I would find myself creating drama or creating this idea that they didn't like me, or that, because we weren't reaching out to each other, because we were following each other, but no communication, like something, they must hate me or something. And again, that's for most cases far from the truth. But you create this, you're so busy sometimes on Instagram, falling into these loops of validation and wanting to be popular based on people following you and having a good ratio, as fucked up as it sounds. But if you're on the Instagram game, you know what I'm talking about. And you end up creating this persona where you fragment the vulnerable parts of yourself, you dish them, you throw them out, and you just focus on what I talk about in this next video.
Yourself. You decide which parts of yourself to show that are either desirable, favorable, profitable, likable, that you deem as good, that people will like about you, and you showcase those parts of you while fragmenting the parts of you that you don't want people to see. But without the whole you, it's not really you. But the thing is, we're looking at people and their posts and their pics and their persona profile as if it's fully them. That's what's fucking people up. You're seeing them in only one light. Another point, participating in Instagram is participating in this illusion that you are not whole and complete on your own. Now look, it's okay if you have guidance, if you have mentors, if you get advice from people, if you ask advice for people, but we live in this culture of giving our power away to experts, giving our power away to celebrities, influencers, etc. And I got caught into the trap of, instead of fully trusting myself, I'd give my power away in terms of what I needed to do next in my life to spiritual celebrities, you can say, to people who had more followers than me, etc., etc. And eventually you realize that they are just reflections. Yes, they can say things that resonate with you, but at the end of the day, you're steering your ship. No one else has the reins. You know what I'm saying? You are whole and complete on your own. You really don't need anyone else. Of course, we live in this world where you're going to get reflections, aka relationships with other people. But if you're doing it to think that you need, someone to give you advice, or that you can't access that on your own, that you're not 100% complete on your own, and everything else is just a bonus, every other relationship is just a bonus to share that completeness with, your essence, your resonance with, then you're going to fall into states of lack, which I have felt many, many times, of thinking, and the trap of thinking that you need to stay on Instagram because if you don't follow these people, you're not going to know what to do or how to live your life, even if it's subtle. So that's another point.
So I'll leave you guys with this. Ultimately, I don't know what's best for your life. You are the only one who knows what's best for your life. And while Instagram can be a good experience for some people, there's power in letting it go if it's not meant for you, especially because it's mainstream and a herd activity. There's power in realizing that love and connection has nothing to do with likes or follows or any of that shit. And whether it's Instagram or some other coping mechanism of choice, we live in a society that constantly numbs and doesn't feel what they're actually feeling. And one of the bravest things that you can do for yourself in your life is to unchain yourself from that which enslaves you, and to consciously choose how you spend your time, whether that's on Instagram or not.
trying to hide in the shade.